the next weeks and months are going to be politically spicy for Nigeria as Tinubu tries by hook or by crook to recapture the presidency. Daddy was declared president controversially a few years ago. I know you have been asking, Offiong, where have you been? Why the silence? I have not been silent. I have been in the trenches, ladies and gentlemen. I have been in Washington, D.C. on April 21st. While many of you were wondering about my whereabouts, I was inside the halls of power at the Capitol Forum, organized by the International Committee on Nigeria, led by Steve Enada. This is the Offiong Okwa Show. That's where I was. Watch this. Listen to what was discussed in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Just take a quick listen.
Offer asylum protection to them and others threatened by this regime. Ensure a free election in 2027. It can be done for the cost of a Tomahawk missile volley. Tinubu was declared the winner with less than 9 million votes in a nation of 230 million.
You heard that?
A free election changes everything.
You heard that? That is not Abuja speaking. That is Washington, D.C. in the United States. And that is exactly why my silence was necessary. These meetings take a long time. You don't scream while you are hunting. You scream once the target is locked. I spent those days in direct consultation with the policy actors who, in my opinion, are rewriting the destiny of Nigeria and West Africa in general. The Offiong Okwa Show, ladies and gentlemen, you should all be proud, was in the room. The Offiong Okwa was in the room when the highest powers in the US Congress compared Tinubu's administration to Germany during Hitler's authoritarian regime lead up to the Second World War. That is my baseline. The world no longer sees a government in Abuja, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I found. Many international observers increasingly see a regime of impunity. That's what I heard. I was an eyewitness to what I describe as the planning of the international hammer against Tinubu. And today, I am giving you the Okwa analysis of these results. The Offiong Okwa Show analysis. The May 6th White House doctrine. Just yesterday. For those who think my trip was just for talk, look at what happened yesterday. This is the result of a lot of hard work by many Nigerian groups. May 6, 2026, the White House has shifted the entire global chessboard. They officially released the 2026 counter-terrorism strategy. And my opinion is this. I'm going to give you mostly my opinion. The era of diplomatic begging is over. No more sending of Remi Tinubu's wife, to go around begging prayer groups in the United States and come and disgrace herself. That era is over. In my opinion, the language and direction of recent U.S. policy discussions increasingly amount to recognition by many Christians internationally that Christians in Nigeria are experiencing targeted religious killings. But here in Nigeria, you will not hear that on NTA, on channels or Rise. My observation at the conference and meetings I attended, they have in political circles in DC increasingly designated Nigeria. This is where they are arriving at now as a global epicenter of terrorism. In my considered view, this isn't just a label. This is a target acquisition document. People have arrived at that conclusion. The Trump administration has signaled just a couple of days ago that if the Nigerian government does not immediately stamp out these terrorists, the U.S. military will treat Nigeria as a combat zone. That is how I read. That's my own reading of the signals. Some people say Trump is taking too much time. Just wait. Remember the Christmas bombing I predicted before time? The policy now has moved from appeasement to neutralization. Tinubu, my message to you is simple and straightforward. The guns are blazing. Era has arrived. Issue 1. Matawale and the culture of the bribe. This is what Nigeria uses endlessly. Here is an additional bombshell I gathered while in that conference. Representative Kimberly Daniels, member of Congress, head of United World Congress of Diplomats, has alleged that Bello Matawale attempted to bribe American officials to soften genocide reports. So they will say there's no genocide, everybody's killing everybody, all those tricks. My take, it is the height of arrogance. Again, this is my informed view. You think you can use the money? I'm asking Matawale this. Allegedly siphoned from Zamfara, where multiple reports indicate you are under investigation, you Matawale, over alleged fraud, and for a 70 billion naira fraud to buy the US Congress. Is that what you want to do? I'm asking you that question. Me. You think reports and allegations surrounding Hillox trucks for bandits in the north that is tied to you translates to favor in Florida? We read these reports. You come and tell us whether it's true or not. Voices like Senator Ted Cruz in that conference, in my opinion, increasingly raising concerns about complicity from people like you. He spoke with conviction at that conference. If I were you, I'll be careful. In my opinion, Matawale is not just a minister, just Tinubu's minister. He's a liability to the very survival of this Tinubu administration. Tinubu thinks all he has to do is to rig elections. It's different this time. Issue 2, the Ibadan coalition. Not long ago, a few weeks ago, people were celebrating Ibadan, all the opposition groups coming together. I think it was April 26th, if I'm not mistaken. A group, opposition, wanted to come together to counter Tinubu. But the Ofion has to warn Nigerians, keep your eyes open. These opposition leaders in Nigeria are no angels. They're not. It's like changing one shirt to wear another. Most of them are the same people who, what I believe, is the exclusive Sharia systems that fuel this violence in Nigeria in the first place. That is my opinion. These people are not for liberation. David Mark and all these people. They are looking for their own turn at the feeding trough. They are fed from the federal trough before they want to feed again. They're looking for their own turn to steal. That is my own opinion. Nigeria does not need a coalition of the recycled. Are you not tired of coalitions of these people? Nigeria needs external pressure of the Trump administration and truth-telling of groups like ICON that are just witnessing Washington, D.C. Nigerians, don't trade one set of chains for another. You don't want to be slaves to one person, then you leave that one to another person. Issue 3. The other issue that I heard discussed there was about Turkey, the Turkish trap and the Reaper's shadow. By the way, why are discussions around Turkish military involvement in Nigeria increasing? Some are even saying that Turkey is building a military base in Nigeria. Tinubu is pretending he doesn't hear all this. Tinubu cannot be mum about these stories. He cannot be mum himself. In my view, this is a plan B by people around Tinubu and himself. He knows that the Radimo Act is coming to freeze the accounts of his enablers. He knows that. That act will increase pressure on his associates and enablers like Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President. He, in my opinion, is looking for a new master in Islamist Turkey to protect the perimeter while the Middle Belt is cleared. That's where most of the Christians live. This is a geopolitical pivot toward Turkey while insecurity in the Middle Belt continues. But he forgot one thing. The MQ-9 Reaper drones in Bauchi. As Mike Arnold, that you heard earlier, said, these are hunter-killer platforms. My sources in DC confirm that the hundreds, about 200 or so US troops are already mapping the network. I hear that. That's what they're telling me. The World Gecko, the US Embassy, started packing its bags since April. How many? Where are we now? In May 7th. Since April 13th, for a reason. In my opinion, the house is already tilting. Trump doesn't telegraph. He positions, then he moves. People may, oh, he's occupied with Iran. Iran is winding down. And there'll be no way this time for the Sultan of Sokoto to run. So my conclusion to Tinubu and his people are resign or be removed. The country, you have turned Nigeria into a city of the dead. You have, for example, the MI of Kontagora, we read reports, is even linked to abductions. And the Sultan is firing back at Christian Association Network. By the way, why are the Sultan of Sokoto I accused of hiding December 26th last year? I accused him that he was hiding in Imo State after Sokoto was struck by Trump missiles. Suddenly he's noisy in public, he's talking now. After what I have repeatedly described as intensified Trump era pressure around Sokoto. So he's emerging. He thinks Trump is gone. It's time to emerge and continue what they've been doing in Nigeria. My final position, which I have already expressed, is Bola Tinubu. Resign now. Resign, or Trump will remove you. The US will remove you. The May 6th declaration proves you are now viewed as a global security threat. That is my opinion.